Hello. Um. Oh. Uh. Mr. President. Um. You don't need tens of thousands of ground troops rolling into Iraq and Syria. You don't need that. You need airstrikes, but you need about 10,000 forward spotters for the airstrikes. It's a dangerous job that as well, and you need that in order to get the precision on the airstrikes and reduce civilian casualties. If you don't do that, it's a lot messier. And it will take robust airstrikes, about 200 airstrikes per day, heavy bombing to degrade ISIL. You should probably bomb ISIL in Syria and Iraq for like 2 or 3 months, 200 airstrikes per day, and then you'll probably reach the point of diminishing returns. You reach that point of diminishing returns sooner without the forward spotters, by the way, as well. And this is restarting in. This is serious business, and Mr. President, you're a little mixed up because you haven't started with heavy airstrikes in Syria and Iraq, and you ought to put those forward spotters in. You need to do that as well, and they're on the ground. They're on the ground, but they won't be seeking to root out ISIL. They'll be functioning to spot where the bombs go, but they need protection, of course, and there could be firefights. But that's different from, sure, you can take losses, and they could even get captured. And that's the nature of war. If you're not going to use the forward spotters, then you reduce your precision. So that's the nature of this particular conflict. It looks like robust airstrikes will degrade ISIL, but we don't really want another occupation of Iraq, do we? Or Iraq and Syria. And nation building would be very difficult. So that's what it is, Mr. President. It's strictly, it's a military matter. Diplomacy is not going to stop ISIL. You can talk all you want, but they've made up their minds, I believe. And so that's what you can do about ISIL in Syria and Iraq. And other than that, you're fumbling. The slow path is not the way to go. It's the fast path, the fast track. It would be more advantageous towards striking ISIL, by the way. So it's been, how long are you going to wait? I really wouldn't know, but the longer you wait, the stronger ISIL gets. And you're Your rhetoric sounded good. We're gonna degrade and destroy ISIL with airstrikes. You said ultimately destroy. Well, we can certainly degrade ISIL with airstrikes. And the rhetoric sounded good, but nothing's happened so far. So I'm just waiting around and wondering what's going to happen. So on to the next subject. That's a serious subject there, and it just won't go away. But I've said everything I know to say about it. Either you're going to do something or you're not. Your airstrikes there are at a very limited level. 164 total airstrikes. That does some, but it's going to take a lot more than that. It's going to take more like 200 airstrikes per day over 2 or 3 months of bombing is what it will take. Steady and relentless. 200 airstrikes a day. That will degrade ISIL. It won't defeat them though. They'll still be running around there, but they won't have any vehicles, and they'll be in disarray, And you may periodically need to do it in the future, And putting ground troops in there would be a mistake. They would increase anti-Americanism so much. Airstrikes doesn't increase anti-Americanism. Is not because we're not actually, on their soil. We're flying by, and I guess it gets them angry. But it reduces their capabilities. And so the Gulf War, of course, it was 6 weeks of airstrikes. It was heavy. It was something like 2,000 sorties a day or 1,000 sorties a day, something like that. And then it was 100 hours of ground war. These tanks just moved. And but Kosovo, of course, there was no ground war. It was just bombing, and we reduced Serbia's military by, I estimate, a third or possibly more. And Serbia's been quiet ever since. The Kosovo War was successful. We got Kosovo back as well. And the Persian Gulf War was successful. The bombing of Libya was not. The Iraq War was a failure and a mistake. Afghanistan, well, judge for yourself. Al-Qaeda is ready to roll back in if we pull out from Waziristan. Pakistan's taking a pounding. Here, I'll go ahead and